Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing going? Alright. So the learning so fast it feels illegal. This is a presentation about an idea. If you want to see the video, full video, go ahead and check the link. But it's not mine. I'll just present it to you. Okay. So first thing, hello everyone. My name is Elijah, and today we're going to talk about a skill that sits above every other skills, the skill of learning itself. Ah, you will think learning is not a skill. What do you mean learning is a skill? Exactly how you hear it. Learning is a skill, believe it or not. Some people learn how to learn, and then they're doing it in a way that stands out. Like, I don't know, if you ever wondered how some people manage to learn certain things, how they know things that are so sophisticated, so complex, then you're on the right path. And that means you're closer to understand what developing learning as a skill is. So I'm a student now, first year in computer science. So I've seen at the beginning, this is a real story, okay? At the beginning of the class, there were like loads of people, 30 people, 40 people, whatever it was. Full, like you couldn't have enough chairs to accommodate everyone in the class, and that was a big class. So, at the beginning, they all like, for whatever reason, they're looking like they're all trying to learn whatever, right? Now, not even the second semester, not even finished the second semester, and probably halfway there, maybe a little bit more than that. We kind of we got three, four, five people in the class, which is ridiculous. Like the amount of people that dropped off in this course is crazy. So obviously that's not what I'm trying to say here. Like it's not because they didn't know how to learn, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that at the beginning they're all looking like they want to learn. That's why they're there. Because that's why you sign up for the course, right? That costs £10,000 because you want to learn something, right? It makes sense. But then you will understand that obviously they had different reasons, whatever. And some of them they did sign up to learn something. And the one that tried to start to learn, right? They were sign up to learn. They were there having different ways of learning. And obviously some of them they were faster, some of them they were slower, and some of them had a better memory and so on. But then you understand that at certain point, some of them definitely excel, some of them they fall behind. And they're all looking up at these people that excel, obviously, as majority of things. But why they never really ask themselves why some people excel. Okay, so learning is not just something that you're just naturally inclined of. You're just born with it. Oh, no, this guy is just smart. He has a double brain. He has like a I don't know what. Obviously, so in certain situations, having a bit of extra brain will make sense, but using it will make a difference. So the right way. So that's what we're trying to talk today. We talk about learning the right way. Talking about teaching yourself the skill of learning. Okay. So as entrepreneurs, we are constantly faced with new challenges and new domains we have to master. So the ability to do that quickly and effectively It's a massive competitive advantage. That's how you stay on top of your competition because you adapt, you do that quickly, okay? Face the challenges quickly and you adapt to it and you turn it into an advantage instead of looking at it as a disadvantage. So, what we'll cover today is a framework that learn to so fast that, sorry, pardon this, frameworks to learn so fast and so deeply that it almost feels like cheating. you would think like you would think that some people cheat, isn't it? And they're so smart that you will think, ah, this guy is cheating, man. So the illusion of competence, right? Let's start with a problem we all face. We spend hours reading books, watching tutorials, and highlighting notes. It feels like if you don't know what highlighting notes is, then you shouldn't be here. So it feels like we're learning, right? But a week later, we can barely remember any of it. That's what's happening. Like every week we go in class, it's the lecturer and they're looking at us. It feels like we got a grasp of the story of the situation. Next week, when we in class, they start asking us stuff about the past week. Nobody remembers nothing. Feel me? Like they're all like crickets. So yeah, passive learning methods. Well, this is called the illusion of competence, right? Passive learning methods are comfortable, but they're incredibly inefficient, right? They trick our brains into thinking we understand something when all we've really done is recognize it. So you recognize patterns, that's cool, but that doesn't mean you actually learned it because when you learn it, it's memory. It's not recognition, and it comes to me. It's natural. You got that skill, and that comes from muscle memory. That comes from practice. Doesn't you know what I mean? So you probably seen something, somebody else doing something, and you can recognize that, but that's not you. It should come from you. So we are mistaking familiarity for true knowledge here. Okay. So the secret basically is contextual learning. So that means that what's the secret to real learning? Okay. Let's ask this question. What's the secret to real learning? So the secret to real learning is understanding how your brain actually works. Your brain learns by association. It takes new information and looks for a place to hang it on your existing mental structure. So, say that again. Somebody said in the back. It takes new information and looks for a place to hang it on your existing mental structure. So, you got basically mental structures. Yeah, that's a mental framework. And the new information always try to hang somewhere, right? In this, trying to be appended somewhere in this structure. So the most effective learners don't just collect facts, but they build a scaffold or a mental framework first. So you got new stuff to learn. Maybe you need to get rid of some of the old stuff, but some this memory needs to stay somewhere. It needs to be like added on, or you can build a new framework. But it has to has like a structure, right? You have to. It's not just random information you just throw it out there. No, it kind of you goes through patterns, and that's how it goes, right? You follow roads, and memory is like stops on the road. Okay, so learning it's about filling a bucket, for example. It's about waving a web. Okay, so let's see the next one. So steep learning framework. The four step learning framework. First step, sorry, so this leads us to a simple 4 step, right? So first step will be scaffolding. Now, since I've been working in construction, I know what scaffolding is. Maybe you don't know, but scaffolding basically is where you build outside of a wall of the building to allow you access to the wall when you got like a high wall and you're trying to build on top, right? So or you do something to the wall. So instead of just using a ladder, you just use a scaffolding and allows you to travel, right? And work on whatever surface of the wall. And obviously, not just the wall, the whole house, right? Because if you build around the house, you have access to the entire outside of the house. So, yeah. And, you know, first, obviously, scaffold, before you read a book, right? Chapter by chapter, skim the whole thing. Look at the headings, the diagrams, the summary, get the big picture and they create a mental map. Same with a website. Before you even start to get into details, right? Or any project you're trying to get into yourself into it. Just look at the bigger picture. See what's going on here, right? Just have a clear mental frame of that particular thing, right? It could be a recipe. I don't care what it is. Okay. So second, but you have to create a mental map of it. Okay. Second, pinpoint. Once you have the map, you have to identify the most important landmarks on the map. So that's how you create priorities, right? What are the concepts or principles? Don't get bogged down in details. Okay. Just find the essential core ideas which are inevitable, that essential, that primary, that whatever it is, like fundamentals. And you just, okay, this is a title, this is a paragraph, this is, I don't know, whatever it is, right? This is a navbar, this is a, we're talking about websites here. So I don't know, this is a menu, this is okay. You go ahead and you create this pinpoints. Okay. So third, actively inquire. This is the most important step because, right, you need to stop being a passive sponge. Okay. You need to turn everything, every statement, into a question. You don't just, oh yeah, well, yeah, this is a navbar. I look, this is a menu, this is a navbar, this is the settings, this is a login, blah 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 blah. No, that's not how you look at things and you create a mental map, right? You're inquisitive. You ask, what's this? Okay, this is that. This. You go ahead and search the answer. And how you search an answer? By asking a question, right? So you turn every statement into a question. Why is that true? Because, and how does this relate to what I already know? You know, a question like this: what problem is this trying to solve? Right? So you ask questions, and then obviously the answers will come. And finally, linking. So now you got the answers, right? But then you can't just put a list of answers and, okay, I got the answers, bro. Here you go. Okay, you can go to sleep now. That's good. The website is gonna build itself. No, that's not how it works. That's why ChatGPT or any AI LLM model is now really your friend in terms like every single day jobs, because you need to put your brain to work, and he's doing all the brain work. And I guess that's what's the beauty of it in a certain extent, because if you ain't put your brain to work, then you're not gonna have that mental structure. You're gonna have that confidence, that um, yeah, you that skill developed. At the end of the day, you wouldn't be able to learn easy. So you have to be careful when you use AI, for example, because it will fuck up plans says at least, because you as a human, believe it or not, as you are, of course there are billions of like you, right, similar, but as you are unique in your way, so you can only reach a certain performance, stuff like that. There are some details about you that are unique. Now obviously if somebody builds a machine is meant to build in a certain way as well and be superior to you, clearly it's going to beat the shit out of you. Okay, you put an AI with the best chess player, it's going to beat the shit out of him, but that's because it's a machine. Okay, so obviously you ask an answer from a machine, the machine is going to produce that answer in the best way possible, and for you to even reach that level, if you will ever reach it, it will take loads of practice. But now you're here collecting the results, but without putting in the work. So you're walking around with, you're driving a car that you didn't bought, or you sleep in a house that's not yours, and all sorts of stuff like that. But you're not just doing it, but you're actually bragging, and you're forgetting the essence of life in general when you do that stuff, which is living it, right? So now you forget that you need to live, you forget that you need to work, you forget you need to learn, to love, to respect, whatever, okay? So the point is to understand those connections you build, okay? Because the more you understand the connection, the 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 better you get at it, okay? Okay. So next will be the founder superpower. So why is this so critical for us founders? Because our job is to learn, okay? One day we learn about digital marketing, the next day we learn about corporate law, the next about new programming language. So you see how diverse this life is. You're not just learning to bake a cake here, okay? You learn a lot of stuff. So the founder who can absorb, understand, and apply new skills the fastest is the one who wins. You gotta adapt quickly, man. So this framework isn't just a study tip. It's a business strategy at the end of the day. It's your superpower for staying agile in outmaneuvering the competition. You figured this out, and I promise you, what competition? There's no competition. All right. So your new mission. If I want to leave you with something, all right, I want you to leave with a new mission. I want you to stop being a passive learner. Okay, don't be just there present, bro, in the class. I'm just here for the presence. What is that? You know how many people will come in this class just sign up a paper, just but never really answering the questions in class. Teacher will be asking them stuff. They were like finding excuses. And I never, I mean, I could write a book with just the excuses I've heard in this class in not even 1 year. Absolutely amazing. The amount of excuses these motherfuckers found and ways to lie to themselves and others about anything. Like, what's going on here? Why don't you spend the same energy to actually build something? It would make a lot more sense. But no, they're just there sitting, present, maybe just throw up some shit, give some stupid answers, and then they feel like, okay, I've learned. I've been in school today. And that's the tragedy here. So you need to teach yourself how to learn in order to actually learn. And the moment you understand how to learn, you have a plan. Okay. This will be a walk in the park. It will be so easy for you to do that it will be crazy. That some people will looking at you thinking that you're actually cheating. That's not possible. How are you even doing stuff like that, right? But obviously, you know what you're doing because you've done it so long. You got a strategy in place, all that stuff, and it's not difficult for you, but for them it is because they never really actively did it that way. They never really spend the time to actually learn in a way that they like. It makes sense for them. Put the energy into learning itself, right? They just been there present to their assisting, a witness to their own life. This is what we call them. Anyway, so anyway, the before you learn anything new, remember the process. Okay, build your scaffold, find the key points, actively ask questions, and link everything together. Four things. You're not even, do these things. Do these four things here. Build scaffold first. Find key points. Actively inquire and question everything. Link it all together. If you have these four steps, everything I learn, I do this. Okay. If I'm learning about a new thing today, I'm doing these four steps to apply it to it. Okay. Make sure I do all this. And then we'll see the results. I promise you, it will be amazing. It will definitely be better than before. And if you keep doing that over and over again, you're already doing better than most of people. Okay, so yeah, just best of luck for this. And yeah, if I would say anything more to this, I would say that if you do this, you won't just learn more, but you will understand it, and on a level you never thought is possible. And when you have trust your competition, there's no competition around or whatever. When you when you know more than most of people, that's when you get people attention, and the right type of people attention, not any fucking idiot, because they see power, they see knowledge, and they're like trying to grasp on that shit. No, good people that they really appreciate that. So maybe it's not gonna happen straight away, but eventually it's gonna happen. And when you find it, you'll see that you got something going on that is worth having. And yeah, all that wasn't in vain. But until that happened, get yourself ready. Put your mental structure in place. Have that strategy and become an active learner. All right, that was me. Love. What can I say?